The national condo market is beginning to crash. Inventory across the United States is starting to sharply rise, and now owners are selling into an illiquid market with no buyers. This isn't just YouTuber speculation, it's data you can find yourself by simply browsing Zillow. According to their figures, the typical condo in the US has lost 2% of its value since peaking in April of 2024. That may not seem like a significant decline, but on the national scale, this is a serious development when looked at through the lens of history. Year over year, condo declines like this have really only happened 3 times. Once during the '08 crises, another during the 2023 rate bumps, and today. Without any signs of a recession and no significant rate changes, many are wondering why this is happening and if it could be a warning for the housing market overall. After all, condos are typically seen as the canary in the coal mine. In some major cities, the real damage is far worse than what the national chart suggests. For example, Oakland, California. Condo values here have collapsed 26% in under 3 years, now sitting well below 2017 levels. Since peaking in May of 2022, the drop has been relentless, averaging almost 0.7% per month. That's roughly $3,000 in lost value every 30 days for the typical condo, with no clear sign of stabilization. It's jarring to point out that in parts of California today, you can buy a condo for less than what people were paying 8 years ago. A similar story is developing in Austin, where after peaking in July of 2022, condos have also dropped nearly 25%. And while they're still higher in value than pre-2020 numbers, this massive drop has been brutal for anyone that bought in that post-2020 craze. To put that into perspective, a 25% drop in any sort of real estate is almost unheard of, whether we're talking condos or single-family homes. Historically, US residential prices have almost never declined on a national basis. Robert Shiller's historical price index makes this clear. In the last century, there have only been 3 major national downturns. The first came during the Great Depression in the years following 1929. The second was a brief period of instability during World War II. And since the 1940s, the only true nationwide housing crash was in 2007. Outside of a small dip in 1991 during that year's recession, the national market has been in a near constant upward trend. That's why any nationwide decline is a major warning sign. It's not just unusual, it's historically rare across 100 years of data. Now, condos didn't become a significant part of the national housing market until the late 20th century. Still, however, the fact that in 2025 we're seeing nationwide condo values fall is a clear red flag. Something in the market is fundamentally off, and buyers are sick of the sky-high rates, prices, and of course, the absurd HOA fees. It's not uncommon to see fees as high as $1,000 to $2,000 a month in many of the big metro areas across the nation. Even in places like Columbus in the Midwest, you can find listings that simply don't make sense from a monthly cost perspective. Take, for example, this listing for a high-rise condo. There's no denying this is a luxurious space complete with 24-hour concierge, security, a fitness center, and a pool. But just look at that listing price. It's $589,000 with a $1,400 HOA. That means under current interest rates with a typical mortgage, your monthly payment on this listing would be around $5,200 a month. For most people in Ohio's capital, that price is simply out of reach. And even for the well-off, the market for a condo like this is slim. Buyers with a luxury budget can head to German Village, where an $800,000 home in one of the nicest downtown adjacent neighborhoods will cost less per month than a high-rise condo priced nearly $250,000 less. On top of that, luxury apartments in downtown cores are competing directly with condos. In fact, 2023 saw what could be called an apartment construction bubble. At one point, over 1 million units were being built nationwide. That pace has cooled, but it's still high by historical standards. Walk through any downtown today and you'll see cranes everywhere with dozens of projects in progress. Many of these buildings offer rents that undercut the cost of buying. In Columbus, brand new 2-bedroom luxury apartments go for around $3,000 a month, while some 1-bedrooms dip as low as $1,800. For young professionals, the exact group that might otherwise buy a downtown condo, renting often makes more sense. It's lower risk given the volatile condo market and the price declines of the past 3 3 years. And with so much supply hitting the market, landlords are throwing in incentives, sometimes offering as much as 2 months of free rent. So while rents have gone up in recent years, they're still far more attractive than buying into some of these overpriced, depreciating condos with sky-high HOA fees. This is especially true in the already faltering markets like Austin, Denver, and Phoenix, where median rents have actually dropped over the past 2 years. One perfect example is Scion 6th in downtown Phoenix. Without exaggeration, this is one of the nicest high-rises in the city, a brand new luxury build with top-tier amenities. Historically, a property like this will be priced exclusively for the wealthiest renters. Yet because of the current inventory glut with competitors like Phoenix, Derby, Roosevelt Row, and Portland on the Park all fighting for the same pool of tenants, you can now get a 2-bedroom unit for $2,700 a month. Factor in the current concession of 2 months free on a 12-month lease, and the net effective rent drops to about $2,200 a month. For a building of this caliber in this location, that's a steal, and when you stack it up against what you'd pay to own a comparable Phoenix condo, it's a no-brainer for many. Especially when you consider how far values are continuing to fall, your equity would be in a spiral. So while the national condo index I showed earlier is only down 2% year over year, the reality on the ground is often much worse. It just isn't fully reflected in the data yet. I made a video earlier this year about a condo development in Punta Gorda, Florida. You can check it out in the description below. Every single unit I covered in that video is still sitting on the market and prices keep sliding. In many cases, when these condos don't sell, owners simply pull the listing instead of cutting prices. That tactic keeps official sales data looking better than what it really is and masks the true declines. Even by Zillow's own estimate, one of these Punta Gorda condos I featured at the start of the summer is now down 39% and it's still sitting unsold. Right next to it, you'll find a nearly identical condo listed for almost double the price, a sign of just how delusional some sellers have become and how illiquid the market really is. In tons of condo markets across the country, there's real blood in the streets. Where it goes from here is anyone's guess, but one thing is clear: a serious condo correction is underway, especially in the southern states. In 2007, it was the condo crash that acted as the canary in the coal mine for the broader housing collapse. Whether history repeats itself this time around remains to be seen. But between the seller delusion, the sky-high HOAs, and the apartment competition, the true nature of this crisis is masked by the current charts and data. For a lot of sellers, it's a disaster. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and let me know what you're seeing if you plan on buying or selling a condo in your market in the comments below.